Hey, welcome everybody to AOPA's Flight School Business Quick Tips from the Field. We are really fortunate to be joined today by Faith Drewry, the founder of FL Aviation. Currently has grown that business and ended up getting it to the point where she sold it and is working on some other stuff right now. So Faith, thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
So Faith, as an experienced flight school owner, because I know you guys were an award winner of one of our AOPA awards on top of that, obviously it's everybody seems to know it's a challenge keeping good CFIs on staff and then even managing them. Can you give us some of your tips on the best ways to retain those good CFIs and then as a follow-up to also manage them to get the best out of them?
Absolutely. We found that one of obviously pay is the first thing in terms of attracting and retaining good instructors. And, historically in the industry, there's been oh, pay the instructors bottom of the barrel, they need you more than you need them. And that certainly has not been the case in recent years. And so we made a point to have very good starting pay and the caliber of instructors that we had attracted because of it, and were able to be selective in the instructors that we hired, I think that's a really important foundational point. I mean, it seems kind of obvious, but there's still a bunch of schools out there who are trying to get by giving minimum wage to their instructors, and you're not going to get top quality instruction if you're only offering minimum wage. So we
Perfect. So it makes sense to obviously like you get what you pay for in those terms, correct?
Exactly. And I think the next most important thing is, and this goes to both attracting and retaining as well as managing, we made it very clear from the beginning that they had a career path with us. So we provided very clear upfront in our employee handbook, when you reach this number of hours of dual given, you will get this raise. When you reach this amount of dual given, you'll be considered for a promotion. And we had very well-defined objectives for people's career progression. And I think that's particularly important today with the airline hiring slowing down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But even at the time, for the last 7, 8 years, we wanted it to be very clear for people that there was a benefit to them to showing up and doing their best work and not just grinding through their 1,500 hours. And we did that by saying, these are, if you want to be considered for an assistant chief role, these are the qualifications, and giving people opportunities to earn leadership roles within the organization, to start leading staff meetings, to start reviewing our procedures manual and see if there's, maybe there was some confusion about a point on where in the pattern to apply carb heat and different models of the airplanes and different, how do the instructors want to present that? Obviously, we created the framework from the beginning, but we also created a framework for the instructors to provide that feedback and to give some leadership in discussing that with their colleagues and bringing requested changes to policies and procedures to management.
Did you find, I mean, it sounds like to me that part of what you're doing there is providing ownership in what the school is doing. Did you find, is that something that you did find? Did it help getting the CFIs on board with your
It
program?
helped immensely. And it also helped, I mean, everybody wants to aspire to standardization. And when we first introduced standardization, there was a lot of pushback because, everyone, well, that's not how I learned it. But when you put those things in the context of, and yes, and when you go to the airlines, it doesn't matter how you learned it, you're going to do it the way you were taught. And providing that structure and putting it in the context of how it was going to help them in their career really helped with them wanting to take ownership and wanting to contribute to standardized procedures that they were comfortable with and felt good teaching. The other thing is by doing those and giving opportunities for leadership, maybe it was a team lead, maybe it was assistant chief, to be able to put that on their resume as the hiring is more and more competitive. So a lot of our staff really commented how much they appreciated the opportunity to add things to their resume.